Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited you're back, and if it's your first time, welcome. One second. Today we are talking about something exciting, and this is about how to prioritize self-care as a mom. And before you click off this video, if you're a mom or you're a mom to be, or you know a mom, you might want to listen up because this is going to help you prioritize yourself to be a better mom. First, I want to say if you are 6 months postpartum, I want you to give yourself patience and grace. Everything I'm going to talk about is really targeted towards people who are probably about 6 months or after postpartum. And again, this is an average, so listen, and if you're not there in some of these things, that is okay. I wish someone told me when I was 6 months postpartum that I didn't have to keep up with all these other moms and what they were doing, and I felt like I was falling behind if I wasn't doing certain things for myself. So again, if you're about 6 months postpartum, just know you're doing a fantastic job as a mom, and you will get yourself back on track with your time and managing your schedule. I promise you. I promise you. Another thing I want to mention is that let's forget about the concept of bouncing back. I think that is such a horrible thing to say to a mom, to be honest, especially someone who is 2 to 3 years postpartum. You are never going to be the same person you were before becoming a mom. It's just not happening. And you don't want to be that same old person. Now you have a baby or babies that you are taking care of, and your life has completely transformed in the best possible way. So bouncing back is not something that we're going to talk about here, and I want you to kind of get rid of that phrase from your vocabulary, because you are moving forward as a mom, and that is a new identity that you're stepping into. It doesn't mean you're forgetting anything behind that you were previously before becoming a mom, but a mom or a mother is a new identity that you are going to be accepting and stepping into moving forward. And the final thing before we get into all the tips and tricks is that remember, every single body, like physical body, is different. A lot of moms want to get back to losing weight or get their figure back or start working out. And remember, it is important for you to be feeling good before you start making any of these changes. Sometimes people have a very hard delivery. Sometimes you have a really hard pregnancy. Or the opposite, some women go through a very easy delivery, and their schedule after is not as complicated as some other moms. Some other moms are bedridden, or if they had a C-section, they can't lift certain things. So again, every single body is different, and every single birth and pregnancy is different, and give yourself grace again. Okay, let's get started. And now I'm talking to people who are, like I said, about 6 months or more postpartum, and with the assumption that you're getting enough sleep and nutrition in your day. If you're not there yet, if you're not sleeping and you're not getting the proper nutrition, don't take anything I say after this moving forward, because those two things are absolutely crucial. If you're not sleeping and you're not getting nutrition, anything else that you're going to be adding on to your plate, like working out or anything else that I'm going to talk about, is going to drain you. And we don't want that. We want you to sleep. Sleep is the best thing for you right now. It's going to make you recover and re-energize, and then nutrition is going to make you feel strong and give you energy. So those two are crucial. The first thing I want to talk about is making new habits and making small habits. So I'm a really big fan of habit stacking. So if you're already waking up, let's say around 6 a.m., my baby was always waking up at 6 a.m. I couldn't have that hour until 7 for myself. And I knew I needed a little bit of extra time before he woke up. So I started to wake up a little bit early before him. And this is all up to you. If you want to build a habit of waking up early or earlier than your baby, start with just 15 minutes. That's what I started with. So I started waking up at 5:45 so I can just go to the kitchen and fill up a glass of water and go sit on the couch, have that glass of water, and maybe meditate for 5 minutes. So the habit stacking for me was that I would go fill up a glass of water, and then the following habit that I wanted to do after that is meditate. So I would go to the couch and meditate right after that. For you, it may be different. It may be that you do have some time before your baby's up. Let's say you're waking up and then you're going to have your water and you want to journal, or you want to read, or you want to work out right away. So whatever that habit is for you, just tie it to what you are already doing in the morning. If you are not drinking water in the morning, I think you should, but let's say you're brushing your teeth. Put your journal next to your toothbrush. So you know, after I brush my teeth, I'm going to go journal. Or put your headphones if you want to go on a walk, or whatever it is. Just put two things together so it's easy for you to habit stack. The next thing I want to talk about is movement. This is going to be very different for a lot of people, so I want to tell you what I do and maybe give you some suggestions that may work for you. For me, movement is very important. My mental health struggles tremendously if I don't move my body, and that may be working out really hard, sweating, getting on my Peloton. I love Megan Roop and the Sculpt Society, so if I have any of those options in my day, or even a walk, it definitely makes me feel better about myself and then be a better mom. So what I started doing is each day I was waking up a little bit earlier. So now I was at about probably 5:30, sometimes 5:15, or even 5 a.m. on some days. Now that I was waking up 45 minutes to an hour earlier, I was able to get my workout in. And for me, that is just jumping on my Peloton for 20, 30 minutes, or doing a workout class on the Sculpt Society app, again, for 20 or 30 minutes. And that made me feel so much better. Just that little time for yourself. And once your baby is up, you know, it's like go time in my household. Like, I can't sit down. It's like, mom, 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 like, I need you. I need the milk. I need this. I need to make breakfast. And then I need to take a dog on a walk. It's just like go, go, go. And I don't have time. I just don't have time. So that's why I created that little bit of space before my baby woke up. And this is not every day. So if you don't have an hour every single day, that's totally okay. But if you have 15 minutes, you can make that time for yourself. Maybe it is just like having a glass of water, closing your eyes for a few minutes, doing a gratitude practice, whatever that may look like for you. The next thing I want to talk about is if you have a partner or someone in your life that can do some childcare for you, this is going to be really beneficial. So I would say this is definitely maybe not an everyday thing, but maybe once or twice a week. Start with asking your partner, or again, if there's grandparents, if there's friends in your life that can come over and watch your baby, ask for an hour. So for me, I started asking for an hour from my husband at about 6 months, where I knew I wanted to start going to a hot yoga class. So for me, it was actually a little bit longer because I had to drive to the yoga class, take the class that was an hour, and then come back. But I knew that that time for myself, just to connect with myself, was really good. And sometimes it's just an hour, honestly, to go run some returns that I have, or I need to go buy something at a store and it's for me. So plan that with your partner, or again, another caretaker of your child. On the other side, my husband also likes to swim. So we have combined our priorities. And so in the mornings, for example, he gets an hour and he goes swimming, and then in the afternoon I can go to my class or do whatever I need to do, or vice versa. We kind of talk to each other and say, hey, do you want to go swimming today, or what does your day look like? And then we make that time to prioritize that time for each other. That is honestly the most important thing. If you can combine your goals with your partner, it will be much easier to accomplish them. The next thing I'm going to recommend is, I honestly wish this was required reading for every single mom, honestly, for the first, if this is your first baby, but I have recommended it to my friends that had their second, and it's called To Have and to Hold. It really validates the mom experience. There are so many struggles that women go through, and they're sometimes really scared to talk about them. They're scared to say it to their friends, or they're scared to bring it up to their partner. And this book really validates every single emotion a mom has. And one thing I want to say, what I have learned from my therapist actually, is the concept of both and. So let me give you an example. You can be both loving with your child and be frustrated at times. So for example, I love my baby and I'm exhausted. I want to spend time with my child, and I need help to make dinner. So it's not an or a but, it's a both and. You can't be feeling two things at once or experiencing two realities at once. For me, I was so scared to say anything kind of negative or any I guess low vibration emotion. I was so scared to express that because I felt that people would think that I'm ungrateful having a baby. And I know how hard it is to have a baby. I have suffered miscarriage myself, so I know how amazing it is to finally have a pregnancy and a birth, and then you have this beautiful baby that's all yours. And that doesn't say that I'm ungrateful. But I can be feeling two things at once. I can love my baby and be so grateful for my baby, and also be tired and frustrated when they're crying and needing help from my partner. It's totally okay. So I really want to validate that for you, because I have so many friends that, say things like, today was a really hard day, but I'm just really grateful that I have a child. And it's, of course, you're grateful. Nobody's questioning that at all. But you had a hard day, and that's okay. And you still love your child. So that book has completely transformed, honestly, how I look at parenting and my relationship with my child. So give it a read, or just buy the Audible book if you are like a few months postpartum, or even within your first year. It's so good just to listen to when maybe you're on a walk, or maybe your baby's sleeping and you have headphones in or something like that. It's really validating. And the last thing I want to recommend to you to prioritize self-care is to talk to other moms. And honestly, maybe you don't have other moms that are friends, and it's really good that you're watching this video because you are getting a connection of some time. But if you do have friends in your life, or people that you meet, or your neighbors that just had a baby, just talk to them and just say, hey, how is your day going? How did you navigate this time when your child was 3 months, 6 months, 10 months? What did you do when they started solids? What did you do when, they weren't sleeping through the night, they were teething? And you can just make that connection. Now, you don't have to do exactly what they say, but just having that bond with another person that has been through what you have been through is so much more like fulfilling, and they understand you, and you feel seen, and you honestly feel heard. And that's really important as a mom, because you are spending most of your day probably with your baby. And sometimes you just need that adult interaction, and you really need that mom interaction. So don't be scared to talk about certain things that you're going through or you're having a hard time with. Or on the opposite side, maybe like your baby's doing really great with food and you want to share that. So just make those connections and make friends with other people that are moms as well. I really hope this video helped you, because when I was postpartum, I had really severe postpartum anxiety and depression, and I wish there was something like this out there that I can just watch and feel validated. If you guys like this video and you want to hear more about postpartum anxiety or depression, let me know. I will make a video on it and how I got through basically those 6 months that I was really struggling, and I know a lot of moms do struggle with that, so you're not alone if you're feeling a bit down. So I'm happy to help, and implement some routine changes and hopefully prioritize self-care for yourself. Thanks. See you next time.